Okay, I am just realizing that none of my audio came through because my mic wasn't set up right. Alright, let me start over. Welcome to today's stream. um, Today we are going to be streaming 3 different indie horror games, or at least to the best of my ability to squeeze all 3 of them in. If I can't squeeze all 3 of them, I'm going to try and squeeze in at minimum Pumpkin Eater and Exhibit of Sorrows. Just know that, like, if you are sensitive to blood, gore, horror in general, this is probably a stream to skip out on. Pumpkin Eater goes through all of the stages of decomposition of the human body in accurate detail. Sometimes actually showing the decomposition, and other times actually only describing things like smells and the like. For Exhibit of Sorrows, it deals a little bit more with torture. And then for Parsnip, if I remember correctly, it deals a little bit more with manipulation. If any of these things are triggering to you, this is definitely a stream I recommend skipping out on. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump into Pumpkin Eater. Originally I was trying to set up to do Exhibit of Sorrows first, because I heard that one was very, very short. But there didn't really seem to be an appropriate category. I'm going to see when we cross that bridge if I can actually put on that category. But otherwise, let's jump straight on into it with Pumpkin Eater. Alright, here we are. Start. Graphic visuals are enabled by default. To censor it, go to preferences. This will not affect the narration. I want the full experience. Nobody knew how it happened. Ah! A boy, barely reaching double digits in years, was lying dead in the driveway. Gray and red pulp was painted everywhere. Back the car up! Back the car up already! How did he get under there? Laying down to draw? Some freak force of nature? I'm trying, woman! An innocent life was taken too soon and too violently. Was it the will of some cruel god? A woman ran to the body, attempting to reattach fragments of jaw back into the skull. One figure jumped up out the car in pursuit, while the other was frozen in place outside. She had watched the full event unfold in front of her. Baby, speak to me, please. He's dead. No, he's not. Look, he's still moving. Don't you hear him crying? You've gone mad. And you've gone deaf? We need to save our son. There's still hope left. Drive him to the hospital. His brains are now all over the pavement. He's already left this world. No, he hasn't. You're a liar. Help me. But... Now, if you care about me and your children, you can't stay out here like this. Bring him inside before the neighbors come. We'll deal with this later. It's okay. You can hug me tighter, darling. We didn't mean it. He's still alive. Mommy, what's going on? Don't worry. There was just a little accident, but everything's gonna be okay, I promise. We should replace his head, quickly. Our garden, a pumpkin should be the best size. You know, hence the name Pumpkin Eater. The perfect nuclear family, torn apart, their lives would be forever changed. Peter Pumpkin Eater had a wife but couldn't keep her. He put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well. Their mother stood panting and admiring her creation, wiping off any blood from her hands onto her apron. It was a little crude, yes, but it worked better than she expected. Outside, the father stared into the sky while the daughter couldn't look away from the driveway mess. Her head hurt from crying her heart out. It's going to rain soon. It'll wash everything away, as if nothing happened. Are we really not going to do anything? I'll think of something. Daddy's tougher than you think, for now. Humor your mother by going along. I'll be hosing down the driveway. I'm scared. I hate this. The father reassuringly patted her on the shoulder. Though he was a man of few words, the father did love his wife, and most importantly, he loved his image. He didn't want his family to be branded as miscreants. They had just committed vehicular manslaughter. There had to be a way of disposing the body. Dinner's ready, you two. Come on inside. Well, that's a dead body. The two were greeted by the son, who was sitting in Grandpa's old wheelchair. The most bizarre sight, however, was a pumpkin in place of a human head, its face carved into a welcoming grin. One could still see the remnants of the original crushed head within the holes. See, the head looks just like him. He said he likes his chair, but wished it wasn't so squeaky. Bleh. I can read. Dear, could you do me a favor and purchase some oil tomorrow? Of course. Well, everyone, don't just stand there catching flies. Let us wash our hands and begin the dinner prayer so we can eat. The mother is in the very big denial. The very big denial. There was little talk at the table. What was there to say, anyway? Despite the gloomy atmosphere, the mother was unusually lively. Here comes the airplane. She was spoon-feeding him? The daughter grimaced at her, shuffling mashed potatoes into the son's mouth. The girl looked at the father for guidance, but he did not return her gaze. The daughter focused her attention back to the food on her plate. It smelled good, but the meat resembled an awful lot like her brother's. She dry-heaved. After silently washing the dishes with her mother, the daughter headed straight to bed. She had no energy left in her. It's rude leaving your brother at the table, you know. He's going to sleep with me? Of course, why wouldn't he? You two have always shared the bedroom. Ugh. Why is he so hard to move? His joints are all locked up. I swear, he was much more relaxed this afternoon. Using all of her strength, the crumpled mother laid the son in his bed. She first tucked in the son, then the daughter, making sure to kiss each one of their foreheads. Sweet dreams, you two. Good night, Mom. With the flick of a switch, the room fell into darkness. Even with the daughter's back turned, she knew whose carved eyes were boring into her. Day 1. Have a good day at work. Remember what I've told you, dear. That is final. Wake up, it's time for school. Her brother was still laying in bed, so it wasn't a nightmare after all. As per usual, the mother tied the daughter's bow, blue, her favorite color. Your brother needs to stay at home for a while so he can recover from his injuries. Listen, whatever you do, don't tell anyone what happened yesterday. It'll be our family's little secret. Do you understand? Okay. I'm glad you're so well behaved. Mommy and Daddy are trying their best despite our predicament. The girl shuffled out toward the school bus, completely bewildered by the mother's nonchalant attitude. After waving the daughter goodbye, the older woman returned to the house. Only the mother and son remained. Thankfully, his body had loosened up again, so it was easier to carry him out of bed and into his wheelchair. Don't get so full of yourself. You'll still have to study at home. Oh, don't give me that look either. You know puppy dog eyes are my weakness. Today was typically the day she spent cleaning the entire house, despite her being a stay-at-home mother. It was a full job taking care of the estate, not to mention her family. She pulled on the vacuum cleaner. Several hours of busy work would be good to take her mind off of yesterday's events. Are you thirsty? Would you like me to bring you a drink? You're not? That's fine. If you need anything, just call for me and I'll be there in a jiffy. It was a lovely day today, and her son could use some fresh air. The mother pushed him out to the veranda behind the house. It faced the family's pumpkin patch, so no nosy neighbors could see him. Humming, the mother entered a comfortable cleaning rhythm, letting all worries slip away. The sky suddenly opened up. The mother was glad for the sudden rain. Their pumpkin patch desperately needed it. Wait, her son was still outside. The mother dragged him inside and threw several towels on him. She pressed against them, drying him as fast as she could. What a fool she was. Taking him outside really was a bad idea. She promised herself she wouldn't slip up like that again. Oh dear, your clothes are soaking wet. I can't have you catching a cold. I'm going to have to change them, if that is all right with you. Dinner was again silent. Usually the daughter was chattiest, bragging forever about what she had learned in school or in her books that day. Now she was poking her stew. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. The daughter refused to respond, huffing in annoyance. The mother turned her attention to her husband. Your son and I had a great time together. He was very quiet, but did complete his required reading, and consider that great progress. I'm heading to the bar. Dear, we haven't finished yet. I'll be back soon. Goodness, what has gotten into everyone? Hydration. Goodness, what has gotten into everyone? After dinner and its cleanup ended, the mother and daughter went their separate ways. The mother fell fast asleep in the daughter's but in the daughter's bedroom, the girl was looking for any sign of life in her brother. Pale skin, dried blood around the neck, and a burgundy discoloration in the arms and hands. It just wasn't human. She reached out for his arm. Touching her brother was a familiar occurrence. Play fighting, sharing food. She interacted with him as any sibling would. Even if the two had just spent hours in snow, she had never touched a person so cold before. The daughter shrunk back. She lacked the heart to continue calling him her brother. The figure tucked tightly into bed wasn't it. Without a word, she pulled the covers over the body. Day 2. It's school time. Please get dressed. When the daughter awoke, she found the body back to leering at her. The blanket must have slipped off during the night, uncovering the head once more. A fly landed on the pumpkin. Hello, who is this? Yes, I'm the mother. Yes, ma'am, I assure you everything is fine with my son. He's been feeling a bit under the weather lately. Thank you. Goodbye. The teacher on the phone sounded incredibly displeased. Timeliness and attendance had always been one of the family's virtues, so the mother was quite embarrassed. In addition, the mother felt guilty for not informing the teacher about her son's absence ahead of time, but her husband kept instructing her not to speak about her son's accident. The father did not return that night. To help alleviate the awkwardness, the mother attempted some small talk. So, how was your day today? Learn anything fun? Kind of. Was dinner to your liking? You need to eat your vegetables to grow big and strong. I guess. Your brother was telling me a funny story today, about how you both accidentally broke a vase by playing tag. You were so horrified. You ran out the house and climbed a tree to hide. He tried to save you by climbing the tree, but ended up getting stuck in there too. You two must have been up there for an hour by the time your father and I came home from the grocery store. I swear, you kids are always up to mischief whenever your parents are out of this house. The mother chuckled and spoon-fed some more broccoli to the son. The house was starting to smell. It was musty, like meat starting to spoil. The daughter knew exactly what was causing the odor, and it made her stomach churn. After dinner, we can put on the radio. The Lone Ranger might be on. You like cowboys, don't you? No, not really. I'm heading to bed. Fine then. Your brother and I will enjoy the program without you, Miss Grumpy Pants. Day 3. The mother's first task of the day, after sending the daughter and her husband off, was to attend to her son. She hadn't noticed it before, but certain areas of the child's skin were discolored. They had the same green and blue hues of a bruise, but the eerie marbling patterns like nothing she had ever seen before. At least it was faint. Were you playing with markers? Pulling out a sponge, she washed the spot, but it refused to scrub off. She retrieved her makeup kit to cover the blemishes. Tomorrow she would look for a stronger cleaner for his skin. Sweetheart, could you pass the salt to your brother? He looks like he needs some. The daughter hesitated. But he's... okay. I appreciate you being so well behaved since your brother's injury. It makes Mommy's job just a little easier. Don't worry. He'll be back to running around with you in no time. Again, the father did not return for dinner. The daughter was beginning to think that he had run away for good. She did not blame him, but why couldn't he take her away with him? As the women were cleaning up, the door flung open. It was Father. The girl's nose crinkled at the heavy liquor smell coming from him. Eek! Home, heading to bed. No dinner needed. It took you long enough. I'm not happy. Our son needs you right now. I don't want to hear your nagging, woman. Well, that was rude. But also, I kind of understand why he's a little bit not dealing with it. Their son died. Wife's in denial. Daughter wants to speak up, but can't. Oof. The daughter sprinted to her room before she became caught up in the crossfire. She could already hear the screaming in the parents' bedroom, knowing her mother. This could take hours. Like the several days before, the siblings found themselves staring at each other in bed. It was becoming tough to look at him. The foulness of his scent made her eyes burn, like moldy salami. She failed to suppress a tremble as she noticed the white fuzz growing in the vegetable's eye. Oh, so he's starting to mold. She felt nothing but sympathy for the corpse. He deserved a proper burial like Grandpa, not kept around in this decrepit state. Brother, are you in heaven? Are you at peace right now? Day 5. The entire family was keeping to themselves in the living room. The father was reading a newspaper, the daughter playing with jacks, the son sitting silently in the corner, and the mother frantically running around, spraying as much bug spray as she could. Ugh, there are flies everywhere. I'm so sick of their buzzing. I'm worried that all their noise is bothering our son. He needs as much sleep as possible to recover. Dear, do you think something went bad in the pantry? If you help me move some boxes, I can clean it out today. I think it's a little bit more than the pantry. I think it's the literal dead corpse in the living room. Dear, are you listening? Father threw his newspaper on the floor. I'm tired of playing pretend. You're taking this too far. What do you mean? As in, I'm disposing of his body properly. I'm digging his grave, and you will not stop me. Oh man, the father's had enough after a few days of playing pretend. Without hesitation, he left the room and returned with a shovel. He grabbed the wheelchair. The mother also latched onto it, pulling it to her side with all her might. Left and right, the bloated body was jostled between the parents, almost ready to topple over out of its seat. No, leave him alone. You can't keep him like this. Yes, I can. He's our son. Stop scaring him. For heaven's sake, he's green and smells like sewage. Does that sound normal to you? The wife should always listen to the husband. Don't be I mean, I don't know about that one, Chief. I mean, like, I agree that, like, she's completely delusional, but the wife should not always have to listen to her husband. Once he's buried in the pumpkin patch, we shall never speak of this again. A couple inches to the right, and that china glass would have blinded him. Don't you dare take him away from me. Oh God, is she getting violent? I think she's getting violent. Her outburst was completely uncharacteristic to the father and daughter, and it shocked him. Who or what had possessed the mother? Please, we can get you some help. You're being hysterical. Oh my God, wait. She actually has, like, broken glass. Or... Oh no, she has an actual knife. Oh my God, she's delusional to the point where she's threatening violence. Jeez. The mother opened a nearby drawer and grabbed a large knife. She was a good cook, and she knew her cutlery well. The woman looked terrified, shakily holding that knife, but fully prepared to strike in defense. I will die before letting my children get in harm's way. The bones have won the war for now. What? Alright. But yeah, this mother is very delusional. Her son is dead. What do you mean, in harm's way? He's already dead. Hold up, I got an ad. I'm holding. Oh, hydration is good. Let me open up my next bottle, because I just finished this one. Okay, now. Okay. I don't know if you're fully synced up right now. I'm currently just swapping out my water bottle for a newer one. Okay, so for the story for this so far, Essentially, it starts off with their son dying, in like a small accident in the driveway. The mother is in complete denial and is acting a bit delusional, thinking that her son is still alive, even though his head has been smashed to a pulp and has been replaced with a pumpkin from their garden. The father, after a few days of pretending that the son is still alive, is tired of it and wants to bury his son because the wife keeps acting as though the son is still alive. Now the wife is saying that we're not allowed to bury him because the son is still alive, and she's willing to go in between the father and the dead corpse of a son, and like is willing to die for her dead son. And I'm just like, ma'am, he's dead. You're in denial. You need help. You're a danger to us. I'll do it. I'm not afraid to do it. Oh my goodness, she's threatening death. Oh. The father dropped the shovel, backing slowly away until he was trapped against the wall. Unfortunately for him, the mother closed the distance between the two. Oh my god, is she gonna kill him? That's right. You were the one who ran him over in the first place. So don't you dare lay another finger on his head, murderer. Jesus Christ! I've been following your every order, but look where that's gotten us. For the sake of our children, I think it's time you started listening to me. We're going to continue taking care of our son, because he had a nasty accident and needs our help. Do you understand? Oh, 6 feet back or 6 feet deep. I don't know. The wife raised the knife to his face. I said, do you understand? Yes, I understand. Don't hurt me. Good. Now we're going to have ourselves a nice little dinner. Any objections? The room stayed silent. Mother's demeanor became gentler, but she continued to grip that knife as if her life depended on it. I'm glad, sweetheart. Please follow Mommy and help her out. We're returning your brother to the bedroom. I think things are a little too loud for him around here. You two have been so inconsiderate. Day 7. Oh, another thing with this Pumpkin Eater, it actually goes over like each stage of decomposition in real time. Apparently it's an accurate depiction of decomposition. Everyone says happy birthday. Unwrap it already. Wow, a bike? Thank you. I think this is a dream. Sure thing, sport. How about we break it in after the party? Yes, please. This is the best day ever. Can I ride it too? No way, you still need training wheels. Mom, he's being mean. It's either this is a dream or this is like a flashback. I can't see this being something in real time considering that the son is dead. Don't get too rowdy. You still have to unwrap the last of your presents. Who else wants another slice of cake? Me. Are you mad at Mommy and Daddy for hurting you? Oh, thank goodness, I feel so relieved. I always... Oh, wait. I like, it's like physically different. Like the actual corpse of a son has become a little bit smaller and now it's like actually green. And you can actually see the little bits of mold growing around the holes of the pumpkin head. I like that attention to detail. Us known as the bones would have killed the explorers. What? I don't know what you're talking about. I always tell your daddy to be more careful when he's driving, but he never listens. Now the mother picked out another maggot and tossed it into the bin. It was starting to overflow, but at least she was making progress removing the squirming creatures. Okay, so that tells me the decomposition has gotten to the point where the flies have actually laid larvae into the body and have already hatched. It was all worth it to avenge us. I know that feels much better, doesn't it? She was a patient woman. His healing process shouldn't take much longer. Day 10. The fact that I can actually now... Oh. I was a little late today, waking you up. Please get dressed as soon as possible. Bottle after bottle, the mother used her aerosol freshener to help air out the room. Thwack with her other hand. She squished a scuttling beetle. By now, she was certain that something went bad in the pantry, for there to be such a large bug infestation. As much as she wasn't looking forward to it, she may have to clean out the entire pantry. She smacked a fly who was resting on top of her son's head. "Oh my, I'm sorry for using the fly swatter at you. Did that hurt?" While the mother was hard at work cleaning the house, the daughter nowadays avoided going inside as much as possible. I kind of swallowed it. No, don't worry about it. It's all good. Every day when she came home, her brother's body would be happily greeting her. She just couldn't handle the rotting sights and smells anymore. The smell of his exudation was overpowering. Green and brown juices dripped from his head and soaked his clothes. It wasn't rotting meat or spoiled milk anymore. It was death. No kids wanted to be near her either. In the corner of her eye, she could see them gag and hold their noses as if she was the deceased one herself. Are you sure you don't want to stay with me a little longer? I can't. I have to get back home to my wife. But you've been looking so stressed recently. Is everything okay at home? Oh, the father's cheating! The father let out a deep sigh. Not particularly. Oh dear. Oh dear indeed. I haven't been treated the best recently. My wife has been so demanding, screaming at me for the littlest things. She's struggling around like she wears the pants around the house now. I can't get any peace and quiet in my own home. I need to show her who's boss. She can't keep pushing me around like this. I'm a man, for God's sake. Oh, that just sounds like fragility. I wish you luck. You can always keep crawling back to me to lick your wounds. That's certainly a way to phrase that. Where have you been? It's rather late. Work. I was killed by Explorer Bill. He locked me in a room and burned me. I've come back with unseen bones and his wife. Whoa, what an adventure. Our son was asking about you today because you failed to show up for supper. Again. You're worrying him sick. Every single day you talk about that blasted son. I don't like how you do your job and make the money. I care of the house and kids. Why is that so hard for you to understand? You call me foolish. He was humiliated from how quickly she shut him down. At least she didn't dictate his actions outside of the home. He berated himself for his cowardice. Ooh, this is 2 weeks of a rotting body, and it's getting worse. Darling, I'm sorry that dinner was a little rushed. Taking care of your brother was consuming most of my day today. It was worse than rushed. More likely she threw random ingredients, inedible or not, into a pot. This past week it seemed like most of her meals were ending in a similar fate. The daughter poked a semi-charred apple with her fork. Ah! There was a maggot living in her food. Oh my, what have I told you about not washing your hands before you eat? You need to wash them more frequently. Were you playing outside? Stop it already. How can you two continue as though everything is normal? Dear, tell her that everything is normal. The father looked like he was in a trance, rhythmically chewing his food without a care in the world. Listen to your mother more. She's correct. It's not true. Why do you insist on talking back? You're a child. You don't understand anything. Treat your parents with some respect. The mother began spoon-feeding the body again. Spoon contents also heartedly containing maggots. A milk-white maggot slipped from the softening pumpkin head and landed onto the spoon, oblivious of the mother. Yummy, isn't it? Oh God, she was going to write. I'm going to my room. As you should. No supper for the rest of the night. The daughter was forced to cart the body back into their bedroom, making sure to avoid touching his slimy body as little as possible. His abdomen, descended beyond belief, was straining to rip through his clothes. The gorging insects were taking delight in how he was a balloon ready to pop. Who knew what putrid horrors were trapped inside him? The girl fell to her knees, weeping. Mother kept saying everything was fine, but of course it wasn't. What wouldn't she give to return to normalcy? Whatever did she do to deserve this torture? If only she and her brother hadn't been roughhousing when the car came. When she looked up, the body was now facing away from her, giving her some semblance of privacy during her grief. Or was he always facing that way? She couldn't remember. Thank you. Of course, there was no response, yet she still felt the urge to say something. I miss you, brother. I miss you so much. Day 17. School. Now. Oh, it's gone. Oh, it's really decomposed. Oh, look at that. Another day, another garbage bag full of empty bug spray. The mother dabbed away any leakage from the son's body, alongside some flaky I don't know how to pronounce that one. It was too much of a mess moving him in and out of the wheelchair anymore, not to mention ruining her upholstery, so she might as well clean him where he sat. You need to take care of yourself more. The last time I sponge bathed you was when you were a wee baby. Not to say you're not still mommy's little boy. Baby. She was frustrated with how many rags it took to maintain her son's cleanliness. He was slowly making his way through her favorite dish rags. The pelican patterned one she was using was soaked with murky browns and greens. Her poor pumpkin seemed to be covered in a greasy black substance. It wasn't his job to clean the stovetop. The mother dabbed harder against his arm, accidentally scraping off a small section of skin. She groaned when more fluid oozed from the spot. Your sister's been refusing to help with laundry. Can you believe it? I wish she was well-behaved like you. No one else wants to spend time with dear old Mom. That's why you've always been Mommy's favorite. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Hello? Yes, this is the mother. What? My daughter said that? About that. I think a raccoon died on the walls. We're going to have to get it looked at. Yeah. She's just overreacting. Children have such vivid imaginations. Her fist clenched. That girl. Because the school bus had long since left, the mother had to drive to school to pick her up. Hydration. They drove back in silence, with the daughter awkwardly fidgeting. The mother looked like she was about to blow a gasket. Okay, explain yourself. The teacher said you were insistent on not returning home because there's a corpse in our house. Do you know how embarrassed I was? But it's true. There are insects crawling all over him and the house. I don't know how much more I can take. I feel so sick. The mother glanced at the body. What's that, darling? She's being quite rude. Yes, I agree with you. Mom, he's dead. He will never respond. When will you do something about it? It's awful living here. What a horrible thing to say about your brother. I thought I raised you better than that. Everything has gone downhill since he died. You don't do any of my hair bow anymore. The food is rotten. Daddy barely comes home, and I can't stand all the smell. I know you're still grieving, but when will you ever get it through your thick head? The mother's eyes widened at the reddening of her hands. And to her weeping daughter on the floor, the woman had spanked both of her children for misbehaving before, but she had never stricken their faces. You hit me. Sweetie, I didn't mean it. I don't know what came a hold of me. You know I'm so stressed from taking care of your brother. I don't know who you are anymore, but you're not my mom. I hate you. Darling. No, you can't hide this anymore. I'm telling the police about you and my brother. She sprinted to the phone, but the mother grabbed her by the hair. Pain seared through the girl's body. You insolent child, after everything I've done for you. It hurts, Mother, it hurts. You're going to rip my scalp off. A prepubescent girl had no physical power over a fully grown woman. The daughter was dragged across the wooden floor, using all of her strength to attempt to release herself. When the mother reached the child's bedroom, she threw the girl inside, the door locked. Let me out! I'm begging you! Mommy, I'm so tired. The poor wretched girl banged and banged again on the door, to no avail. The mother wasn't even listening to her. And I'm sure you're tired of the arguing as well. Daddy disagreed for a while, but he eventually learned that Mommy always knows best. All we have to do is wait a bit longer for your brother heals up. You believe Mommy, don't you? I need to tell your father about this. He will not be pleased. No, I'm sorry. If you were truly sorry, you would have been a better sister. You can be that now. That night, the daughter had a nightmare. Maggots covered every square inch of her body, twisting and withering to find a way to burrow deeper inside. She would have screamed if her mouth wasn't equally stuffed with maggots. The white worm slithered across the remains of her tongue, bashing against the walls of her pumpkin head, trying to escape. She could feel their tiny mouths eating away at her bite, bite, bite. Hello there, my sweet baby boy. I was just checking up on you. Did I disturb your sleep? No, she wasn't your brother. Leave her alone. You haven't fallen asleep yet. Are you having trouble? I can't read you a bedtime story if you would like. Which one do you want to hear? If I remember correctly, the Ugly Duckling was your favorite? She sat down next to the daughter, unaware of the slimy, squirming creatures crawling their way into the helm of her dress. Buzzing blowflies danced above the two, and she began to read. The air was suffocating. Good night. May you have sweet dreams. She kissed the pumpkin. Dark slime clung to her lips from her sweet good-night smooch. The room fell into darkness, leaving the daughter alone, coughing and gagging into the night. Day 20. Yes, ma'am. My daughter is at home, too. The kids' measles have gotten pretty bad, but they should be returning to school any day now. Yes, of course I've been homeschooling them in the meantime. What do you think I've been doing this entire time? My babies will be back when they're ready. Not a day sooner. You can stop calling now. The mother was exhausted from the incessant phone calls. Just yesterday, the electric company had threatened to shut down the power if the bills weren't paid. But she knew she had paid them. The son's skin looked even worse today. Concerningly worse. His skin was a soaked paper towel, tearing just as easily. The mother brought out more of her makeup kit, ready to powder all of the petrification. Though, unlike her previous attempts, her son's skin refused to obey. Like a silk glove, the skin slipped off, landing silently onto the ground. The ease of such a feat shocked her. Then more and more until he was resembling some bloated lizard emerging from his moult. With each opening, a drip of black stew-like goo kept trickling down his limbs. No, don't do this. She pressed her hands against him to hamper any further slouching. In retaliation, a geyser of thick fluid spurted from his torso, accompanied by air too foul to describe. Finally, the stream of bodily delectance came to rest. A child in front of her was partially deflated, sagging further into his soaked seat. This wasn't good. Why wouldn't her husband take their child to the hospital? The mother was damn near ready to herself, but she knew the jostling from the trip would make things worse. Even the light test touch of her hand was not safe anymore. Tears welled in her eyes. What more could she do? On the contrary, the son's face was twisted into some relieved grin. The tired woman looked down. Her dress's hem was dyed in an assortment of dark fluid. Touching her dress only further coated her hand in the mucus. After the mother spent the rest of the day cleaning the mess, she bathed and went to bed. Day 22. Anytime the daughter's door was unlocked, it was to slip in food. The timing was irregular, making it difficult to calculate when she should escape. She could hardly eat the food anyway. Not one meal passed without a wriggling maggot hiding inside. Being trapped in this festering room made her entire body itch. She brushed off a hungry fly crawling on her arm. Their usual food source had been relocated to the living room for several days now, but they were more than happy to bother her. The daughter remembered Job, a figure from the Bible. Despite all the suffering and adversity he was given, he never gave up hope and was rewarded in the end. She could make it through this too. One power the daughter had over the mother was retaining her wrists. The police are here? But why? The mother glanced at the rooms behind her. Hide him and make sure the police don't hear the children. Good afternoon, officers. What business do you have here? Excuse me, ma'am, but we were called today because of a smell complaint. One of your neighbors isn't happy. Yes, sirs, everything is all right. We've been having all sorts of pest problems, but and have been doing everything we can do to clean them out. Insects in the pantry, raccoons on the walls, and it's a living nightmare. Phew, I can sure smell it. Do you have a stinky cheese factory hidden in there? The three awkwardly chuckled. The caller also mentioned that your son hasn't been in a while. Yes, it's a case of the measles. I'm afraid he hasn't been improving as quickly as I'd hoped. I had been so weary, everything seems to be piling up. My husband keeps saying he doesn't have time to help. He's always working. The mother wiped her eyes as the policemen lowered their hats to their chests. Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. We won't bother you anymore. Our best wishes for your son getting better. Thank you. You're too kind. I'll be sure to tell him. The daughter's mouth was gagged with an old sock. Behind her, her father was tying her arms with rope. The man had little idea how to do it, and was trying barbarically force the limbs into a position they shouldn't go. Your mother cares about this. You know that, don't you? You can see how much she loves your brother. She'll come around, and then we can go back to being a family. Why did her father keep listening to that monster? The daughter let out a muffled wail. Finally, the man turned to stare at her. Instead of a cold glare, he looked pain from heartbreak. He placed what seemed to have been a loving hand on her shoulder, but he seemed too lost to tell. Yes, that's it. She was his child, remember? Surely he realized what he was doing to her. Well, any trace of empathy vanished when he heard the returning high heels of Mother. What took you so long? Come with me to the entrance. Her arms were bright red from struggling against the rope. No, don't leave her. On the opposite side of the room, the son's untied body was mocking her. A large section of hand ligaments and muscles dribbled into the wheelchair seat. Eventually, the police drove away. The parents did not return to unbind her. Was it because they forgot to do so? Or did they know she would attempt to escape again? Day 25, baby! Both the father and mother were staring at the black limb on the floor. It was soft and delicate like wet tissue paper. Likewise, the child was rapidly falling apart, his mushy pumpkin head barely attaching to the neck. I thought after receiving his new head, he would be recovering. But every day he gets worse and worse. What's wrong? What should we do? That's it. What if we replace the body too? His body wasn't compatible with the head, so we need to find a new body that is. Oh my goodness, she really, really is delusional. The neighbor's son. They're the same age. No, don't do this. Don't kill the neighbor's kid. Bring the child here tonight, and don't keep me waiting. Our son needs his body more than that other brat. Oh my God, she's gonna try and kill the neighbor's son. Oh my God, holy shit. Yeah, no, she's completely delusional and in denial. Oh my goodness. I hope that doesn't get successful, because oh my goodness. The daughter was awoken by the muffled sounds of struggling and whimpering. What was going on? Oh my God, they kidnapped the kid. A child screaming in the basement answered her question. Would she be next? The daughter did the only thing she could think of. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. Footsteps grew closer to her bedroom. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners. Your mother wants to see you. No! Oh my God, they killed the neighbor's kid. Oh my God, they killed the neighbor's kid. Oh no. Oh no, and then they're gonna have her play it off as though that's her brother. No, oh my goodness. There was an uninvited person in the basement, and he was dead. He was fresh. And the pumpkin on his head was even fresher. Her parents really did kill someone. In the corner, her brother's body was callously cast aside. Oh my God, she's a murderer. The mother's a murderer. She's delusional. Oh my God. Look, darling, look. Your brother is all better now. Aren't you happy? We don't have to worry anymore. The mother stepped towards the daughter, completely drenched in blood. The daughter wanted to vomit, but the father held her still, unable to run away from her maniacal matriarch. Ah, I'm so glad you agree. Things will finally go back to normal. Don't forget, you have school tomorrow, so you can take your brother with you. No. She was prancing around the wheelchair, beyond proud of her newest work. The daughter knew that within a month the body would finish rotting, and all the torment would begin anew. While the mother spoke, the new corpse was already turning pale. I was so busy preparing for today that I completely forgot about dinner. It may be the middle of the night, but how about we have ourselves a celebratory meal, fit for a whole family? The police? And this soon? You absolutely good-for-nothing husband. I should have done it myself. The father simply bowed his head. You've always been so oafish, and thanks to you, you're now ruined it for all of us. Do not let them down here, or they'll take our son away from us. If that's not your son, you just killed the neighbor's kid. The parents were distracted, and now was her chance. As hard as she could, the daughter bit down on her father's hand, drawing deep blood. He jumped back as the girl burst from his arms and beelined up the stairs. You better rethink that right now. The mother had her butcher knife around the other child's neck. If you leave us, I'll kill him. You wouldn't want to be responsible for your brother's death again, would you? That would make Mommy very sad. The kid's already dead. What kind of threat is this? It's not a hostage situation. You can't have a hostage that's a dead body. I'm not afraid to do it. Don't take another step. For a split second, the daughter almost pitied her mother. Throughout the entire month, the mother kept denying and making excuses, completely delusional that nothing was wrong with her other child. Even now, she was treating this decapitated corpse like a hostage with value. Huh? What's that, darling? You want me to kill her instead? Oh my god, don't listen to the voices. That does make sense. I've always loved you more anyway. The other woman faced her daughter, her knife already poised for attack. She wasn't kidding. Sweetheart, listen to your mother. Come down these stairs right now. You've already caused her enough trouble. The daughter was so close to escaping, but her legs refused to move. Gloria. Her heart was ready to burst out of her chest. She would know that voice from anywhere. Brother? In the corner of the room, the figure turned his pitiful head to face her. But now, he was supposed to be dead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry everything turned out this way. It wasn't your fault. Gloria, you need to run, now. And with those last words, his body collapsed to the floor, bursting into a blackened sludge. Now he was truly gone. That closure was just what she needed. With no more time to spare, the daughter gritted her teeth and sprinted up the rest of the stairs. Out of the house, she barreled into the policeman's arms, the mother howling already far in the distance. Hey, be careful. That's a child. Are you hurt? What's your name? It had been so long since she last touched a warm human being. Her resilience was finally rewarded. Don't worry, young lady. We'll take care of this. You're safe now. You cover the seeds with dirt, sprinkle some water every so often, and they'll be ripe for the picking in October. Wow, that's so cool. What's the biggest pumpkin you've ever grown? Hard to say. Maybe the size of our car? No way, Daddy. You're such a liar. The father chuckled. But I have won a blue ribbon at the state fair before. You should have seen the look on your mother's face. Having fun out there? Yeah, Daddy's showing us how to grow crops. Dinner's on the table. You three better hurry, or it'll get cold. Last one in's a rotten egg. Wait up! You had a head start. Daddy, why are you running too? Your legs are longer. It's not fair. The mother put up a valiant struggle in staying with her deceased victims, but she was eventually dragged away, kicking and screaming. Ultimately, she was institutionalized. The father was charged with kidnapping and shortly afterwards committed suicide in prison. No one would mourn his death. With no family left to claim guardianship over the daughter, she was simply shipped to the nearest orphanage. For the longest time, this tragedy became the talk of the town. Who could have known that the quiet but kind-hearted family were host to monsters? It was rather lonesome in the orphanage. No matter how many times the daughter bathed herself, fellow children constantly remarked about her repugnant smell. She couldn't tell if it was because they were mocking, or if the girl could truly never wash away the scent of death from her house. Oh, you poor child. I can't begin to imagine your pain. Don't worry, we'll find a good family to take care of you. At least the nuns were kind enough to ignore her smell. She was able to make friends with one of the older nuns, who was well known throughout the place for her baking skills. I baked a nice pumpkin pie today. Would you like a piece? Eek! Shoo, you nasty fly. You silly fly. This pie is not for you. I'm sorry, they're such a nuisance. The flies have been unusually bold recently, and I don't know why. If you would like, I can cut another slice of pie for you. Toss it, please. I'm not hungry. Are you sure? I'm begging you. Can't bear to look at it anymore. As you wish, my dear. Oh, and that was Pumpkin Eater. Alright, let's go to the timeline. So this actually gives us a fully fleshed out timeline of the decomposition of the body, as well as visuals to go with it. If I remember right, end of rigor mortis. Yep. Alright, so that was that one. So next one that we're gonna swap to is what did I put? Oh, Exhibit of Sorrows. So let me launch it, and then let me adjust things. Exhibit of Sorrows. There it is. Now let me try and change the category. Oh, it's not a category on Twitch, so I am not sure what to put as the category. I guess just done. I don't think there's there's no category on it for now. Mainly because it doesn't actually have a designated category. Oh well. Alright, here is Exhibit of Sorrows. Warning, this game contains content some players may find disturbing. For Dust's experience, play with headphones. Bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Alright, I just adjusted my chair. There we go. What are these arrows for? Ah! So is it just slideshow us? Oh! You broke it. The music box won't turn on now. The lights are working fine. Huh. Well, that was a little... Welcome to the Exhibit of Smiles. Heh. Now this is Exhibit of Sorrows. Oh, look at this little dude. Oh. Is he gonna pop? Look at this little guy. Mr. Floaty, eh? Oh, I got a key. Should I? Okay, yeah. He's just floating. He's just vibing. Let's see. Mr. Washi. Alright. Who are you? Heh. I just pressed the little nose. Oh, what's your name? Mr. Handy. Huh. Miss Stretch. There you go. Did it. So far, this is pretty straightforward. Ah, teeth. I see. Actually, what does it say? Jack in the Box. Heh. Wait, why is it... Alright. Oh, you just got closer. Okay. Oh! Oh, okay. It's too dark to go for. You should exit. Clean up the room first. What? Oh, okay. Well, how do I clean? Oh. Okay. Room cleaned up. I feel feared. Okay. Turn on the lights. Okay. Oh my god. Do not cross. Oh boy. Locked. Perhaps there's another exit somewhere else. Oh. Oh, this took a different turn than I was expecting. Wait, why is it still going? Why is it still going? Oh god. Am I supposed to have it pop? Oh! Okay! So, murder, eh? Oh! I see! Interesting! Oh, am I gonna have to break his dude's fingers? Yep, I gotta break the fingers. I gotta break the fingers. I don't like that. Well. Ah, I see. Hmm. Wait, why is it far? Why is it? It's farther now. Oh, am I gonna rip off her arm? Yep, we're ripping off the arm. Definitely took a turn I was not expecting. Come on. Yep, that'll do it. That'll do it. I don't feel safe. Oh, I really don't feel safe. I don't like this. I don't like... Oh. I don't like this. I don't like this. What the f- What is this? Oh god, what is this? Oh god, what is it? What is it? Oh, is it gonna let me out? Oh, is it gonna actually let me out this time? Oh! Huh. Yeah, no, that was definitely short. It was an interesting little experience. I don't think I'd mind having like something else made by this person. That was pretty cool. All right, let us swap over to Parsnip category. Parsnip. Done. Let me swap it over. A hungry rabbit quests for cake. Oh, that went full screen. Oh, that went full screen. Wait. I'm gonna have to adjust it. Oh, there we go. It adjusted itself, actually. Let me do... Okay, I need to just swap and... Come on. Oh, it doesn't want to capture. What? What's happening here? Okay, so it doesn't want to... Let me try something. I'm gonna try and quit it, and then I'm gonna try and launch it again. Close window. Now let me go here. And let me try launching it once again. Like I say, yeah, it's being a little weird, but let me try something else. Try that. I don't know why. Oh. So then that goes there, and I can X that out. X that out. I don't know why Steam VR keeps wanting to try and open when I'm trying to open up Parsnip. But here we go! Parsnip! New game! Eon. What a happy morning for me. Parsnip Bunner. I'm awake and I want some cake. And wait, I used all my ingredients last night to bake a cake for tea. Oh no, I only have sugar left. Oh, this is so sad. I should grab my sugar, then see if my friends can help me. Left click on an item or character to bring up an interaction menu, right click and hold down on the screen and Parsnip will move there. Use the middle mouse button or spacebar to open up Parsnip's bag. Press escape to instantly quit the game without saving. Clicking on an exam icon. Alright. Oh my goodness, I literally just read escape would be to exit out of the game. I am but a fool. That was my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try that again. Yep, yan yan. Megan wants a cake. We're gonna help Parsnip make a cake. Is there supposed to be audio? Oh, no, there is audio. There's just, like, no music. No, I want... Okay, things to do. Bowl. That's my cake mixing bowl. I always leave it out because I eat a lot of cake. Once I have all my ingredients, I can put them in there to make my cake. Come on, move. Something I get paint in my food by accident. Haha. Sugar. Yoink. Also crap. I don't have time to paint right now. Move past the house. Oh. Oh, okay. I understand we were inside the house. That's a signpost. Okay, now I understand we were inside the house and now we've left. Is that Rosemary's Eye? It is so lifelike. What a cute painting. Locked. Good thinking, Ross. You wouldn't want strangers in your house. Actually, can I lock the door? Nope. Hi, Rosie. You've been through this, Parsnip. It's La Rose, not Rosie. Nor is it Rosie, Rosie, Rose, Rose, or Lidwig. I still don't know how you ended up at that last one. Haha. I'm baking a cake today, Rosie. Do you have any ingredient? No. Well, bye. I feel like there's supposed to be music with this, but there's just, like, nothing there. Oh well. Hi, Belle, it's me, Parsnip. Have you got me my chocolate milk today? Sure do, hun. I bring it to you every day, remember? Haha, you sure do. I can't bring you it right now, though, hun. The sheep's in the way, and my contract says nothing about shifting Roke's sheep. Milking, sure, but nothing about moving them. That's borough council business, see? Wow, what a naughty sheep. We should phone the police. Hey now, partner, maybe you should shoo it away for me, and then I can deliver your milk. Wow, oh wow. Good idea, Belle. No wonder you are a milk woman with ideas like that. Okay, let me see if I can actually pull up, like, an OST or something, because it feels weird playing this without any, like, music. Actually, let's see. Let me see if I can find something. Probably pull up some, like, classical music, I think. Because I feel like that's easiest to do in this instance. I'll do this one. And then I will also just have that loop. There we go. Now that is much better than having to be completely silent. There we go. You have the right moves. Sure do, hun. You go move that sheep for me. Will do, Belle. Parsnip is to the rescue. Just gonna adjust the volume a little bit to that. There. Out of the way, you silly sheep. Stop blocking the road. Shoo, shoo, go away. Oh, look at that. It was that easy. It worked. I can go down the road now. Well, I moved that silly sheep. I think it ran off back to its field. I saw. Good work, partner. I'll deliver your milk in a tick, okay? Just gonna finish this article. Milk float? That milk float belongs to Belle. She drives it here every day to bring me my chocolate milk. That's so generous of her. Squirrel girl. Hi, Squirrel Girl. I'm baking a cake for my breakfast, and I would love to include your chocolates in it. Could I borrow them? No way, old man. These are my chocolates, and I'm gonna eat them all. Besides, my parents told me to never talk to strangers. Haha. But I'm not a stranger. I'm Parsnip, Parsnip Bonner. My parents told me you were the most strange stranger, and that I shouldn't talk to you. Haha, jokesters. Apparently, you're a bad influence. Haha, those jokesters. I'm Parsnip, and I'm a good influence. So, can I borrow those chocolates now? Nope. These are like the only food I have left besides some twigs I found in the woods. There's some frozen chips in the freezer, but I don't know how to use the oven. I'll help. I'm a great cook. I'm going to hang out by myself now. Hi, magnificent magpie. Squawk! Squawk! Heathen, thou doth me a disservice. I art the magnificent magpie. Oops, sorry, the magnificent magpie. Please forgive me. Thou shalt have thy trespass forgiveth. The magnificent magpie is merciful, after all. Well, thanks, the magnificent magpie. Squark, squark. Wow, that's sharp. What a shiny knife. The magnificent magpie loves shiny things. I hope they're safe with that knife, though. Knives are a very dangerous. That looks like some nice milk. Maybe the cottage is empty after all. Maybe if I knock and ask, I can borrow it. Hello? Who is there? It's me, Parsnip Bunner. I live down the road from you. If I knew someone lived here, I would have visited sooner. Oh, hello, Parsnip Bunner. How can I help you today, small rabbit? I'm baking a cake, and I see you only have one milk left in the lane. Could I borrow it? I have milk. Well, of course, yes, I do. You may take my milk, Parsnip Bunner. I need it not, after all. Great. Thanks, new friend. See you later. Goodbye, Parsnip Bunner. Enjoy the milk. So we did get milk. I want to bake a cake. So we need honey, chocolates, and flour. I don't think she can see me. She must be having too much fun on our game machine. Buzz, Buzz, it's me, Parsnip. Oh, geez, kid, what do you want? I'm baking a cake, and I would love to include some honey. Do you know where I could get some? I don't have time to go to the shops today. Is this a joke? We're bees, kid. We make honey. Whoa, that's amazing. I never knew bees could do that. So do you want some honey? Or are you just going to stand there all day? Can I have some honey, please? Sure, kid. We'll make you a deal. Your aunt used to plant flowers for us, lovely lady. A real dime, you get me? You've been rather useless on that front. If you bring us some new flowers, we'll make you some honey. Got a deal, kid? Wow, sure thing. I'll pick up some flowers for you. Hello again, Parsnip Bunner. Is the milk faring you well? Sure is. Thanks for letting me borrow it, new friend. I'm glad I could help you, small creature. Alas, I am too busy to converse at this moment. I have a great deal of arrangements to make. Mayhaps if you return soon, you can repay your debt to me. Wow, I love helping my friends. See you later. Goodbye again, Parsnip Bunner. May your day be well spent. Sheep are like clouds with legs. I think I prefer clouds, though. Oh no, it looks like Belle broke the milk again. How sad. It's not her fault she doesn't have proper paws. That's Squirrel Girl's house. I think her parents must be at work today. That's the field of wheat. Sometimes when I walk past it, I really want to run through it. That would be so naughty. The farmer would not be impressed. Haha. That's my friend Rosie. She's an artist. She does such pretty drawings. So what's up, Rosie? Are you having a magical day? Great. I'll leave you to it. Daffodils. Chocolate milk. Well, always brings me chocolate milk. Normal milk is so boring. And I'm fun bun. Thanks for delivering the milk, Belle. No worries, hun. I get paid for it, remember? By the bottle, actually. That's why I deliver it to the empty cottage at the end of the road. Delivering to empty buildings probably makes up half my day. Those suckers at the council have no idea. Wow, that's so clever. Huh, sure it is, Parsnip. Huh, sure is. I'll talk to you later, Parsnip. So now I can bring the flowers to the bees and get the honey. I go all the way to the end of the map. You got those flowers yet? No? Then scram. But wait. I do have the flowers. Let me just... Hey guys, I have some flowers for you. Nice one, kid. Maybe you aren't as useless as you look. How about you plant them there and we can get to making your honey? Sure thing, Mr. Bee. Good job, kid. We'll make you some honey. Might be a few hours, though, you hear? There's a union dispute at the moment, so we're a little behind schedule. That's okay. I'll come back later. Have fun with your new flowers. Haha. Yep, I still can't go past there. Hi, new friend. Good afternoon, Parsnip Bunner. Why have you come here? Pray tell. Actually, you wish to bake a sugary food, do you not? I sure do. I'm having it for breakfast. I may be able to offer you flour, should you require it, in return for a few favors. Oh boy, I love helping my friends. I'll do some favors. If it would not be too much trouble, I would very much like some candies. They will guide me and light the path for the king. I can get you some candies. I bet Le Rose has some. She has lots of nice stuff, so I will talk to Le Rose. Hi, Rosie. You have a lot of nice things. Do you have any candies I could borrow? I mean, I have candies, but you can't borrow them. I don't really trust you with anything involving fire. Wow, good point, Rosie. Fire safety is super important. Can I borrow them anyway? No. No, you can't. Stop pestering me to lend you things. In that case, we can trade. I can paint you a picture in return for some candies. No, I just cannot wait to show you my art skills. No, seriously, Parsnip. See you later, Roxanne. Finished. What a pretty painting. Rosie will love it. Go away, Parsnip. I am way too tired and sad and tired for your crap right now. Oh wait, I have to do this. That's certainly a painting. What is this? Hey Rosie, look what I made for you. It's a drawing of us. I need to clean myself. Cleanse my body of this sin. I think she liked it. I can borrow some candies now. I'll follow Rosie inside. No, Parsnip. I don't think that's how that works. Oh, candles. I've been reading that wrong. It was candles. Candles. Straight up just stole some candles. Hi, I brought some candles for you. Oh, wonderful. Majestic. My friend Parsnip Bunner, you have the most impressed me. There is just one small thing I require, and then you may have your reward. I require a knife, small rabbit, small creature. My previous one was damaged while cutting. Assorted meats and bones. Not really supposed to touch knives after the incident. But okay, I'll help. Thank you, Parsnip Bunner. I am most indebted to you. I can only hope your dark future is short and merciful. The magnificent magpie. You love shiny things, and I can see you have a shiny knife. Could I borrow it for a while? Hark, the serf wishes to arm itself? Could this be the start of a revolution? Of a coup? A revolt? No, oh no, of course not. I would never try to overthrow you. Verily, this is what a serf would say to thy ruler before upstirring their throne. Mayhaps if thou proved thy loyalty to me, tell me how great I art. The magnificent magpie is a fair and beautiful ruler. We should all look to their majesty. More, more! Score! We all bow down to the magnificent magpie, the richest and most charming bird to live. Wonderful, wonderful! Squawk! Thou art truly a loyal serf. Thou may have thy knife. Yeah, while I'm at it, let me get the honey first. Come back later, kid. We aren't done yet. Okay. Wanted to be sure. Oh, I need to do this. I have a knife for you. Swish, stab, cut. Cut, 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 cut. Only joking. It's always important to be careful with knives. Fronts get hurt. Otherwise. Amusing joke, Parsnip Bunner. Now, as promised, your reward. Some flour. Wheat, ground to dust, as all should be. Alright, so we got our flour and dirt. We need honey and chocolates. Oh, hello. Hey guys, is my honey ready yet? Sure is, kid. Take it. It's time for us to clock off. Wow, it looks tasty. Damn straight it does, kid. Now run along. We gotta clear up. So is it just in my inventory now? Yeah. Alright, so now we need chocolate. We got everything else. Well, that's just randomly on the floor. That looks like Squirrel Girl's skate. I guess she must have lost it here. It's a lot of sheep. Yeah, okay, so we got all the ingredients to bake a cake. Let's go bake a cake. I guess. Hi, Rosie. Parsnip, it's like 4 p.m. I am way too tired to talk to you right now. Conversations with you are like snorting E numbers. That's okay. It's almost time for my breakfast. Breakfast, Parsnip? At 4 p.m. A cake. For breakfast. At 4 p.m. It's almost evening. Nope, I haven't had breakfast yet, so it's still morning. Oh, of course, Parsnip. I forgot. Time revolves around you. Parsnip, the deity of time. The center of the universe. I don't know what those words mean, but I agree. I can put my ingredients in my bowl now. Here's some flour, Mr. Cake. It almost looks like sugar. I wish it was. Time to pour the honey in. It smells so sweet. I'm going to pour this entire bag of sugar into my mix. These chocolates I picked off the floor look so tasty. I wish I had more. This milk will be great for my cake. My cake is ready. It looks so yummy. Maybe I should share it with my friends? Or I could just put it on my plate and eat it up straight away. Hey, Belle, I finished my cake. Would you like a slice? Well, sure, hon. Pass me a slice. Here you go. I hope you like it. Hey, Rosie, would you like some cake? I don't know, Parsnip. You've been really weirding me out today. But I guess a slice of cake might make up for you being a little freak, though. So I guess I'll have a slice. Haha, here you go. I hope you like it. That's Squirrel Girl's house. I think her parents must be at work today. Hi, the magnificent magpie. Would you like some cake? Squawk! Verily. Cake is a dish worthy of any ruler. Hand it over, serf. Here you go. I hope you enjoy your treat. Hi, new friend. I finished my cake. Would you like some? Some cake? Sugar? Why, today's activities have left me rather hungry. I will have some cake, Parsnip Bunner. Post it through the letterbox, and I shall enjoy it. Cool. Super cool. I hope you like it. That's the beehive. I think bees probably live in there. And so I can't give it to the beehive, so that means we are on our way back. Just more and more sheep. It's a field of wheat. Sometimes when I walk past it, I really want to run through it. Okay, so that's the same dialogue as earlier. As a signpost, it points at things. So do I just... I should put my cake on my plate and eat it. Okay. Yum. It's finally time to eat my cake. Oh! Belle tragically passed away after ingesting paint from Parsnip's cake. Whoa! Rose... Oh! Oh, it... They passed away after contracting tetanus. The magnificent magpie contracted bird flu from Parsnip's cake, but died from a heart attack upon seeing the amount of crumbs left on their feathers. Oh, so we end up killing everybody with our cake. Oh, I see. Alright, that was everything planned for today. Look at that. So that means I can exit out of that. Alright. Let me also go here. So that was everything planned for today. Ayo! We had enough time for everything. Alright, thank you so much to everyone for tuning in for today. I had a lot of fun. I will be back again at some point next week. Likely gonna do Wednesday and Friday again unless something changes. I hope you all stay awesome. I hope you all enjoyed the stream for today. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.